Hi all, good morning, good evening. Let's start with the 12th session of SAP Free Learner ABAP training series. So thank you for all your love and support. I have reached 100 plus subscriber now. All you see 103 subscriber now. That's great. And 10th video is for your 11th. I have not uploaded it. We'll upload 11th and 12th together. Thank you so much for all your love. And please do subscribe and press the bell icon for notifications for my uploads. Okay, so let's get into the subject. So in our last class, on my 11th video, we have discussed about control break statement that we were discussing about. So let's go, and there was an issue I think we were facing that day, I guess. Let's see. So I prepared a data with repeated fields and all, you see. So what I will do, I will just change a little bit column position or flat number. We have 203. Yep, we have flat number which is changing. So this change, why I'm looking at it, will help us to explore one proper control break statement further. Okay, so in control break statement, when we use at end of the statement which I discussed about in my previous class, at first, at last, at new, at end of, on change. What are all these things, and what is the difference between at first and at last and on change of? So what happens that when a column is in question, the column whose value you are checking, okay, so at first you have to give the column name there, after that in the syntax in the code, okay, something like this, you see, at end of or at first, at column. So at first will trigger when the first entry is encountered, okay, and at last will trigger when that field's last entry is encountered, okay. So let's say I will go for flat number, its value is changing at end of. So we will see what does it do. At end of, so what I am doing, we are looping in flat number, adding the flat number, and then I am showing it out, okay, at end of. So let's first sort it based on that flat number, sort the table by flat number, not house number, okay, and we will see if it's sorted or not. Okay, let's try to activate it. There's some, again I'm getting the error. Last time I was getting the same error, so I need to see what is the issue with it. There has to be some fix for this one. There is some kind of issue going on. Okay, so let me check. If I will comment this, I'm not getting that issue. I'm not sure why it is happening like this. At must end at, okay. So and that has to be commented, because without that it will not work. So now see, error is gone. So when I'm uncommenting this line at end of or at first, it is giving me some error. Okay, so let's do, I will show you some other example for the time being. Let it be. Okay, what I want is I will use at first, and then in the first iteration, okay, first and at, and then at last. And at. Okay, so these statements get triggered if you give the column name like that I have put it here. Okay, any column which if the value to the left of it changes, this particular event will get triggered. So in that day we were looking at into Excel format. Okay, how it shows up, right? So let's see. Okay, so let's see if I can replicate the scenario. Something, we have entry 10, let's say here I have 20, and here I have X, then I have, and here I have something YZ. Okay, and I have 1 then I have here 10 20 x again yz 12. Here I have 14 20 x yz, and let's say I have anything here 89 whatever. Okay, so whatever, let's say this is the column in question, okay, on which I want to see at first, at end, what is going on. So we will first sort our table, internal table, on this column y, and there's z, z, z. Well, how this I will just replicate these values, okay, so that z, okay, I will just control C, and I will just control V, okay, and then here I will do the same thing. You can give anything, any values. I'm just using test data kind of thing. Okay, so let's see, let's try to understand how this at end of at first will work. Okay, so let's say this is the column in question. So when I say at first, okay, at first x, okay, when I say this column name is, let's say, if the column name, let's say, is test, so, and I'm checking the value on change of test, okay, how the change is. So I want to accumulate this value. Let's say I want to see, right, we were checking at the day expense column, right? Let's say this is type of expense, and this is how much he is spending on cab, how much an employee is spending on hotel. Okay, so what will happen, I want to group the expenses or something I want to do, okay, so then we will choose at end of. So when we are looping through this table, first this entry will get picked, then this entry will get processed, then this entry will get processed, then this, so on, right? So what I want, that when the processing is occurring on the loop, what it should do, it should add up these expenses, 10 10 14, okay, so it will become 34, right? So this will become 34 and this will become 60. So this 60 plus 34 is 94. So all this 94 should get printed in the output as one record, as his type expense as. I just want in the output X, and I want another column which says 94. So total personal expense is 94. Then let's say Y is nothing but his official expenses, office related expenses, stationery or any headsets or mouse or anything he is purchasing, okay, and he is reimbursing it in the office, let's say, so for office work. So this is for, let's say, electronics items, and this is for desk items, anything, staplers or whatever. So all this should, again, if you add, this is again, let's say I will put 30 here just to show you difference. Okay, so this will become how much? Total 104 this time. So this should 104 should print in Y category, and in the output I want to see like this, and in the Z similarly again 94. So if you add these all, you will see sum is 94. Here you see it is showing 94. So 94 should appear in the output. So this is how I want to see the output. I don't want to see his item description and what or how it is spending, and what is the detail of the name of the items. Let's say it's the name of the item which he has purchased, and it is the quantity what he has purchased or whatever it is. So I don't want those. I just want to see category wise expenses, how much he is spending. Okay. So I want, this is the table data. In the database it is saved like that. So then from database we will see in the next coming session how to pull data from database and then put into internal table, then process it. Okay, but here currently we are hard coding that these data in our program, just like house number, flat number. So what I will do, I will start processing. I will put a condition at last this column test. At last test I will put a column condition here at end of, sorry, at end of test. Okay, like that I will put here at end of test, that column name. So obviously this has to follow with the work area name, so this, at the end of, I think it should not, this is not needed. That might be the reason of error I'm getting. Yes, right, exactly. So this was the error. It doesn't need work, it only needs the field in question, okay? Because automatically, as soon as you start looping, it automatically read all the fields available in this work area and then start processing. So at end of this particular field, okay? So let's comment this for now. At last and at first we will see. At last and first, let it be. I will write here some comment I will write. Let's say header kind of some information you want to give. So at first is helpful. So it will run when the first execution is happening. Okay. So here you can write sum of flats. Sum of flats. Here I am printing sum of flats. I was taking another example there, and here I am printing sum of flats, something like that. Okay. And similarly, just like that expense category, I have flat number here, which is changing. It is the third column, and it is changing values. Okay. And somewhere it is same also. So let's make few more same and few more difference. 4 4 4, and in all those cases where it is 4, okay, 2 3, then 3, then 4, and I have entry for 200, right? So what I will do, I am sorting it based on the flat number, okay, and then what I will do, loop at this LTDR at end, I will sum up the house number. Let's say I want to sum up the house number. So I will categorize based on the flat number. Whenever flat number is ending, the changing of flat number ends, I want to print the sum of all the house numbers. Similarly, when the category ends, type of work ends, I want to print all the sum of these columns. So here I was adding 2 columns. That is not a problem. I just add this column also. So that's what I in this case I'm adding only 1 column. So you can put any logic, whatever you want. Okay, so I'm just collecting the till the iteration is happening. I am keep adding this. Okay, and as soon as at end of flat number changes, as soon as it comes hit the last entry of the flat number, this last entry at end of. So that means here this category is changing. Next it is going to change. Its system will automatically check that this is the last entry of this field, whatever the field I have defined in the field control. This is called field control. In the add statement, whatever you're doing, that is called field control. So in that field control, okay, wherever it is going to change in the next iteration, so it will pick that at the last iteration, this entry it will pick at that time, and after doing it will enter the, as soon as it will hit this entry, it will enter this section. It will not enter until unless this flat number is at its last entry. Okay, we can see that in debugging also. I will do one thing like this. Okay, so what I will do, and at last I want to see sum of flats, sum of house number, sorry, it's not flat, house number I'm doing, house number ends. Okay, I forgot to write this right statement, that's why it's showing red. Okay, sum of house number ends, and here sum of house number I will do starts, house number starts. Okay, so something like that I can print. I want to print these things. Now what I am printing here, trying to print here, you see, I am giving here house number. I have to give flat number here, flat number, and here I have to give some flat. Okay, I am collecting in the some flat variable. That is fine. Let it be as it is. So I am writing this. Let's see how it is going to print. Let's see, no syntax error. It should activate. And look, our address to table is, which is a copy of address 1, and it is printing all the entries. So it will help us to compare. Okay, so first we are printing with, so let's see how it ends. Leave it, you see, 200 hyphen, you see, house number, one sec, what is happening here, sum of house number ends. Okay, it is showing sum of house number ends, and then it is showing here your house number, and here it is showing some where is some it is showing. I think I've done one mistake. I have to clear this variable as soon as at then, otherwise it will keep adding up. Okay, so for the next house number also it will keep adding up. So just use clear the variable. This is how you clear any variable. Just clear the variable. After printing the value, I am printing, this is my mistake, flat number, and here sum of house number I am printing. First of all, I need to see if the table is sorted by the flat number or not. Okay, let's put a breakpoint here, execute. Let's ignore the screen. Let's see in the debugger if the table is sorted or not. Don't worry guys, again I'm telling you, we will go for debugging concept later. It's a separate session. Just try to understand what I'm trying to see here, if it is sorted on flat number or not. You see, our entries are sorted based on flat number. House number is 90 is here, 103 is there, that doesn't matter. But it is sorted by house number 202, 200, 200, 202, 203, two entries are there, 204. So what I'm expecting here, you see, the sum of house number. Let's copy this entry. This control Y you press and then you can select from these kind of tables in SAP. Okay, let's see it. I will paste it here. So this is the entry. You see, sum is 396 for which house number? You see which house number it is. Let's see which house number it is. It's checked for 204. For 204 it should print 396. Here is the sum it is showing. So for it should print something like this, 396 for house number 204. Okay, so flat number 204, right? It should print like that. And for 203 it should print 190, and for 202 it should print 90, 200 it should print 103. So let's take a snapshot of this one or something. Can we take okay, one sec. I will do one thing. I will copy entire entry. I will show few more things. What will happen to these columns? Okay, its behavior, how it behaves in when it enters that. Okay, so you see, I will color this different. These two should be in different color. So this is how I am grouping based on flat number. I am grouping the houses. Okay, it doesn't make sense, but just for example I am doing it. Okay, I'll make it blue. So this should come for 200. Sorry, this is different and this is different house number, so I have to give different color here. These two are completely different house numbers. Okay, so for 200 it should come as 103. For 202 flat number it should come as 90. Sum should come as 90. For 203 house number, the sum flat number, house number sum should come as 190. If you see 190, and for 204 it should come at 396. Let's see how our program behaves. Okay, let's do F8. Okay, so let's see. For 200, 103 is coming. For how flat number 200, 103 is coming. That is correct. Then for 300, for 90, 202 is coming. For 202, 90 is coming. Sorry, for 202, 90 is coming, which is again correct. For 203, 190 should come. For 203, 190 it is printing separately, and 204 it is printing separately again. This 90 thing is getting separated. Why? It is missing, you see here, and it is ending here. Something like that is happening. Why it is behaving like that? It should club. It should, one entry should come for 204 and one entry should come for 304. This 90 is making some different entry here. So what is going on here? Am I doing something wrong? Let's and you see at first and at last is showing at only once in the output. Okay, and you can write in any order. And this statement you can, doesn't matter first should come first or last should come first. It will trigger at in the last iteration. This will trigger in the first iteration of the loop. Okay, so as soon as first entry hits, before that it will execute this section, and after that it will execute this section. Okay, so I think what is happening here, what might be, let's comment these things and let's see. I will tell you one more thing what might be wrong in the system. Still no effect. Okay, so what happens to the columns in the between at and end at, in that block at and end at we write here in the code. You see here, come on, I will remove the selection screen. We don't need selection screen for now. Okay, we don't need that. Was that we were using for our read statement, so we don't need selection screen. So I will comment these parameters, we don't need this, and I will execute. It will directly show you the report output without any user input screen. Okay, so you see here at or and at statement. Between this, what happens when as soon as the control enters inside this, so at first like at end of it is there, then there is some statement called on change of. Okay, so as soon as it enters this statement at end of, okay, so or at new, when you will select at new, okay, so at end of and then at new is there. At new will trigger in the whenever the entry change for the first time. So as soon as after at end of triggered, after that it will trigger at new. If you write at new, it will go to that block, because in the next iteration new entry is starting. So as soon as for the first time also when the loop will execute, so this test column is having a new value, right? So any value blank, then it is holding a new value in the first iteration x, so at new will trigger in the first time, and then again in the fourth iteration it will trigger at new, and then again here in the whenever this value is changing. Okay, so new value is coming to that time. At last is triggering, at end of is triggering, at the end of in the last iteration of that entry, okay, at the last iteration of that entry, and at new will trigger in the first entry. Okay, so that is how this logic will work. And there is something called on change of. On change of will trigger whenever the value changes, this to this. So this change is happening, so in the first time it will trigger. But what is the difference between at new, because at new is also triggering on the value change, and on change of is also triggering on the new value change, any value change in that column. So difference between these two is when you select at new, any column to the left of it, if the value changes there, let's say here you see, here it is becoming 10 to 14, here also it is becoming 10 to 14, 10 and then 14, but here it is x. So the column in question on which I have put the at new condition, at new test I have put, okay, its value is not changing, but the column left to it, okay, either of these two columns, if the value is changing there, it will trigger that. Okay, that is the problem with at new. Okay, so you have to make sure that when you are using at new on any column in the middle of the table, so at new always you use for the first column. Okay, if you are trying to track the changes in the first column, then you use at new. That is the best way to avoid such discrepancy. Otherwise, use on change of. On change will trigger only when that column in question is changing its value. Okay, on change will not trigger when the value to the left of it is changes. No, on change will only trigger when that particular column's value changes. So that is the difference between on change of and at new. Okay, so why that is the cause of error that we are facing, I guess. At end of also behave the same. Okay, because the column left to it is changing the value. So what I will do, let's fix this by fixing the data. I will not change any column value left to it. So 10 to 14 it was changing, right? I will keep it, let's keep it whatever y first entry is, y is 10, after that also all 10, here 20, so after that also here also 20 only. Okay, so similarly for our case here also it should be same, it is changing the value, that's why it is printing twice. For 203 two entry has come, one for this one, so because that at end of is triggering twice, at end of is also behaving like at new only. So any column left to it is changing the value, it is triggering that statement. That's why 90 is getting printed separately and 100 is getting printed, and that's why here also 306 is getting printed while 90 is getting printed separately first, because the value is changing here. So value is changing, so at last is changing twice. Okay, so that is the main reason of the error that we are getting here now. So now you got it, why we are getting that error. And it's not error, it's actually it is behaving as per expected only. We are doing it wrong. Okay, we should not use at end or at new in the middle columns. Okay, we should use those things only in the first column, so that there is no column left to it. So on the left side there is no column of it. Okay, so that's how we need to do it. So instead of using at end of, better use on change of. Let's see, I will give on change of, and we will see that 396 will come then instead of 306 and 90. On change of I will give, and here I will give and on. Okay, and I think now our result should get corrected. So flat number is on change of, flat number is unknown. Where is that flat number is unknown? Why it's saying flat number is unknown? and neither specified in the table key data statement nor specified in the end on if there is open structure on change of. There is no open structures on change of. What is there? What is this? Let me comment it for now. There is another way to fix it. Let's uncomment this again and edit. Okay, flat number is unknown, it's saying. Okay, do we need to give this? Let's see if in on change of we have to give this one also. Yes, on change of we have to give the with work area we have to give, because it is sitting in the middle of the fields. I think there's that matter. So we learned two things. I also learned this new thing. That first thing I knew, I was just missing it out, that at when we give at new or at end of, we have to give only the field name, but on change of you have to give with entire work area. Now our result should come correctly. Okay, I am expecting it should come correctly. You'll see. You see, now there is only one entry for 204, 190 which says. Then here it is 203, it is 90. Here it is 202, it is 90, and 200 it is 103. Why for 203 it is 90 only? For 203 we should have 190, and 204 we should have. Is there anything else which is changing to the left of it? Okay, we have two columns to the left of it. Oh man. Okay, we have two columns to the left of it, and the values are changing again, so that is the issue. So let's do one thing. Let's reverse it. I hope you got what I am trying to explain here. Okay, so let's reverse the position of the columns. Okay, in the structure, let's make the flat number as first column. Okay, that will not make any difference in the structure. So how you are filling in your code the value of these fields, that doesn't matter. Okay, this like you are saying that okay, first you are filling house number, then you are filling the flat number, but in structure you have declared it first. That doesn't matter. Okay, so you can, because you are giving an entire specific memory location. Okay, it's based on the name, field name. Okay, so you can fill it in any order here, and at the end you have to append it to the table. So don't worry about the order in which you can rearrange this. You can put country first, you can put anywhere in the program, you can fill these things, and then at the end you can append it. It will hold the value. Okay, because we have used data statement, which is creating a memory reference. Okay, so now our house number is the first field. Sorry, flat number is the first field. So on change of flat number, let's see. I'm hoping this should not go wrong anymore. 200, 190, 190 again. Let me see if I can put it instead of this. I will do at new, or at last, at end of, and then I will give flat number at end of flat number. And because this is first column in the structure, so we don't have to worry about it. You don't need breakpoints, let it be. Finally we have achieved what we were looking for. You see, for 200 it is 103, for 200 it is 103, for 202 it is 90, for 203 it should be 190. So for 203 it is 190, and 204 it is 396. Okay, if you add these 4, it is 396. You see, so it is printing now. So we have made it finally as what we did, we made it as first column. Okay, and then we used at end, because these values are also changing. It was to the left of it, so it was changing. Because of that, it was behaving differently. Whenever there any changes happening, that at new was getting at end of was getting triggered. Okay, and this was causing the discrepancy in value. Okay, now as we have made it first one, I will arrange this one also, and I will show you the effect of on change of. We will do on this one, on change of, how on change of work. So okay, so I want on change of house number. I will comment this one, and I will make it on. And let's see, on change of, we are facing some issue, right? It was giving that error that field number is not identified or something. on change of, so we have to sort it on house number. Okay, let's sort it on house number. So house number is third column, sorry, second column, right? Let's see the structure at what position. So the structure, when you declare in the type statement, that decides the positioning of the column, okay, not how you are filling it in the program, only this structure. So if you change here positioning, it will change in the table also, positioning of that column. Okay, so structure is the deciding factor here, not the way you are filling the data here. Okay, so now we are able to see I have assigned the value. It will sort it on the based on house number, and then it will try to print the sum of, let's say print the sum of flat number. Okay, we'll try to print the sum of flat number, and we'll try to print here. So let's see. Okay, it got activated now, and now execute, and now you see, now for house number 90, how many house number are there? 4. It is showing 4 types of house number. So let's see how many we have, how many types of unique. 90 we have, 100 we have, 102 we have, 103 we have. So 4 for 90. Now let's arrange this based on our house number. Let's, what I will do, I will select this column and I will sort it on this column. Sort it. Okay. Oh, come on. Control Z. Let me select this too. Go to new sheet, and based on this I will sort it. Expand the selection. Yeah, expand the selection. Sort it will. Okay, so it has sorted like 103, then 90, 90, 90, 90, then 100, 102. So for 102, sum should come as 612. Let's see. 400 is coming as 610. Why not 12? 400 it is 203. So 400 it is 610, 102. On change of, there is something wrong. I need to debug and find out. So I hope you got the gist of it. Okay, so on change of will not trigger if the values to the left of it changes. It should not trigger. And what happens when you use this kind of control break statement? Let's go to this column. Okay, I will not waste time on analyzing that one, because we know that it works, and we might be doing some mistakes, so we need to analyze that later. We will see in debugging chapter how to analyze this kind of errors. Okay, so let's see here. So when I am putting an at statement on this column, the column to the left of it will retain the values, while your control of execution is between at and end at. Okay, so if when the code between these two statements is getting executed, the column to the left of it and that particular column will hold the values, but column to the right of it will vanish. Okay, all the character columns which is having the char data type at the domain level, it will turn to asterisk marks. Okay, it's like it will appear like a star star star, and all the numeric field become 0 0 0 0 like that. It will appear as 0 0 0. It will become 0 and it will become asterisk. All the column right to that between the this is a weird feature of control break statement, but it is a bug, kind of a standard bug. So to avoid that, there is a workaround. We use something called field symbols. Instead of into work area, we define something called field symbol. So we the statement for that is field symbols, like that. You have to declare a field symbol, field symbols. Okay, and then you have to declare, and you have to put it into this quotes. Okay, this less than and greater than sign, and then you have to declare some variable lfs underscore addr. I will declare, let's say, and you have to give the type, whatever the type lty addr we had, right? So we will use that same type, lty underscore addr. So we use field symbol during the control break statement. Reason being, the only the field symbols if we use, then only it will be having the value. It will be holding the value, the columns to the right of it. Otherwise, it will vanish. So I will show you how to use this, just an example, but we will have detailed discussion about field symbol and what is this actually. It is just like a runtime memory allocation. Okay, it doesn't occupy memory. When we do data declaration like this, it automatically picks up a memory. It assigns a memory to this variable. But when we use field symbol statement, it doesn't assign memory until unless a value is assigned to it. So instead of this, into work area we use assigning. There is a statement called assigning and then field symbol name. That's all. That's all. And now wherever you are using this LSADDR, instead of this you have to use this LFSADDR. And all the columns in this work area, it will behave like exactly like work area. It will, all the columns will hold value. Okay, even between the at and end at statement. Okay, so we were looking at that this statement. I will comment this and I will show you how the values are getting changed when you are using simple normal work area instead of field symbol, which asterisks and numerics it will change to 0 values that I will show you. Okay, we will just print those values and it will automatically print it. Let's say I was printing here, instead of house number is printing here flat number, I guess, and here the sum was of house numbers. Okay, so this was I think this is correct, right? So now we, instead of only these two fields, we will try to print other fields also to the right of it. Okay, and let's try to print any field. A house number is also one of the fields, right? So let's print house number which is to the right of it. So you will see what value it will print. H. Okay, and just execute. Activate and execute. See, 0 is coming, though our house number is having some value. So as soon as it hits the enter this, and we'll see the character fields how it is behaving. So integer fields are like numeric fields, that's why it is coming as 0. For character fields it will show you asterisk marks. Okay, let's take this one and put it like this, LSADDR I believe, hyphen street, and let's see, it should come as asterisk. You see, 255 character I have given the length, so 250 times this asterisks are coming. Okay, so that might be the reason this much big, but asterisks are coming at the last column. So this is the what is happening. But when I will use the field symbol, okay, show you. Let's say Control Z. I will do Control D and I will comment and uncomment the statements. Assigning field symbols. You will see the magic. Okay, all the value will retain. Okay, instead of this I will use LFS, I will use LFS, LFS here as well, and LFS here as well. Okay, so field symbol is used to avoid that bug that standard SAP has. Okay, with control, you see all the values coming, Chandni Chowk, street name is coming, 90, whatever the values are coming now correctly. So that's the power of field symbols. Okay, so this is more or less about control break statements. Okay, so generally what we do at the end, we calculate the sum of the current value of the control level, that particular column, and then we print it in the output. And then what else we have, some points we have, it finds all the rows that have the same values within the control level field and all the fields to the left of it. The sum, it sums each numeric column to the right of the control level. It places the total in the corresponding field of the work area. Okay, so there is a sum statement also, which I have never used, so just Google it. Okay, control break statement in SAP ABAP sum. Let's see. Okay, so there is some statement calculates the total of numeric fields and places the total in the corresponding work area. So it is very useful when you want to print some kind of output directly in the in the result. Okay, so while it is going for at the end you can print the sum. So what sum statement will do, if you write sum and let's say I was doing like some flat number. Okay, I will write sum just like, I think this should suffice. If I'll use statement like sum house number, I guess. Okay, I don't remember the format for this one. Let's see, F1 we will do and it will show you. So one more thing I wanted to show you for the write statement. If I want to highlight some entry in the output, it should have, let's say, yellow highlighter that we have in Word and other stuff, right? So that also we can do. We can add colors to our text in the while writing in the output. Okay, let's see how it works. Some no internal table, some, and that you see it is in the control level control break statement. Okay, and inside the loop control break statement, control level processing. So some what it does, the statement sum can only be specified within a loop starting with the statement loop and is considered within the at and at control structure. Okay, so it has to be inside at and at control structure first of all. Prerequisite for using statement sum includes the addition into the loop statement. So there has to be into statement in the loop statement, and it has to be within the at and at. Okay, so these are the prerequisites for this, and the specified work area WA is compatible with the row type of the internal table. Obviously, otherwise you won't be able to loop that internal table into the work area if the type is not compatible. It will give you error. Okay, type compatibility error will come. In addition, sum cannot be used when the row type of the internal table item contains components that are tables. So something we discussed long back, something called deep structures. You remember structure declaring a structure inside a structure. So I want to have some data where table is itself a field. Okay, you remember we declared something called table type in SE11 data dictionary, right? So we can use that table type within a structure to define one of the fields. So in that structure, let's say this one here, if I define here in the type statement, if I use a table type here instead of this normal data element or standard data types, if I use here the table type, so this becomes a deep structure. So there it can hold any internal table which you will declare of this type will hold a table inside a table. It can hold a table as one of its field. So in such cases you cannot use sum statement. Okay, if that table is like that, you will not be able to use sum statement. It will not work. Okay, and next thing is statement sum calculates the sum of the components with numeric data type of all those, like int4. Okay, that is numeric data type that I am using. Okay, and char data type is string, char, or whatever you are using. Those are all character data types. Okay, then that's about. I will leave it here only in this one. Okay, I won't go much deep. Let's go to explore something called a write statement that we were doing for highlighting, I told, right? So we can highlight something. Let's replace it to our old logic. Instead of field symbol, we were using LSADDR. We will switch it back to that one. Let's okay. And then here also we have to change all the variables we need to change. So we will cover this field symbol later. Okay, that's a separate topic actually. Runtime memory allocation, it comes under. Okay, so it is used just to save memory. Okay, as soon as you assign, then only memory gets allocated to it. Unless till then it's just a declaration. It doesn't hold any memory. So it makes your program more efficient. But using field symbol is very dangerous as well. If it is not assigning anything, then it will cause short dumps. Okay, errors will come at runtime. That also we will discuss. So coming to the write statement. So you see here something called pattern button here. So this is a type of code wizard tool. It automatically generates code for you. So but I would not recommend using this, because if you use this to generate codes, you won't write the code and you won't remember the syntax. So better use it yourself. Okay, so you can choose a message and it will generate a message for you, message syntax for you. You can generate select queries from it and it will automatically generate those things. Okay, then you can, so we are going to use a write pattern. Okay, let's see. I'll go to write pattern. I'll show you how to choose color. We can do many things here. We can write checkbox output form, and then we can display something as checkbox, then we can display something as icons. Okay, any field as icon. So I will give a field here, any field, test something, and then see color. So let's go to color here, F4, press F4, it will show you. Let's say I want to highlight in green color, so just select that and just copy. Okay, so it will generate the statement here. You see, this is the statement, this is the syntax for writing color for any variable. So I just wanted this syntax actually. Okay, what syntax we have? So flat number that we are printing and house number. So what I want, instead of sorry, I don't want this because these were printing blank and asterisks, so leave it. I want to some flat to be highlighted in green color, so I will give color positive and then that's it. So if I want flat number also, there also I will give, let's say I will give here color negative if it exists. So one should come in red and other should come in green. So yep, let's see, activate and execute. You see, left side all are coming in red and right side all are coming in green. Okay, so okay, there has been some logical errors, I believe. I think I have removed the logic for adding flat numbers here. You see, some flat is not being added here. There was a statement, I think I deleted that by mistake. Some flat I was adding all the house numbers in that, so that's why some flat is printing as 0, but that is not the point. Point is like we should get colors in the output, so that will be like many times you will get this kind of requirement to highlight the output, highlight at least the sum at the bottom. We had this image, right? So like that. So if it is last line item, you have to write the output as a sum, so just highlight it in some color. Okay, so that will be very helpful for a user to directly identify the total result. So we do this using write statement. We can do many more things using this pattern button. Okay, let's explore a little bit about it. Then we have something called cases for status, write pattern, authority check, perform. Perform is for subroutines that we create. Select query, you can give the database table name or you can search here. The database table we created, that also will appear here. You see ZEMP best, that is appearing here. You can search, that is not the entire list here, and it will generate the select query. That is our next topic. Let's see, I will give ZEMP star 4. I will give, it will show everything starting with ZEMP. So this one I will give OK. So it will say which all field you want to select. While selecting, I want employee number, I want phone number, I want employee name, I want salary, and I will copy. It will generate the statement. You see, it has generated the select statement for you, and you have to put your condition. So when you are fetching the data from database, you put some condition there, right? For what employee, which employee you want to fetch all these values. Select star, in the where condition, what all fields we have selected are coming. It will fetch, star means all the field, fetch all the fields from this table. Okay, and by default this will work as a work area. It will fetch single entry because select and select is a kind of loop. So wherever this criteria you are giving is first matched, it will fetch the first entry, then second entry, and it will run like a loop. And this will behave as table as well as a work area itself, inbuilt work area, as we discussed. Any database table we use, that by default defines a work area. So in this statement we can use directly ZEMP best hyphen EMP number, write, you can write that value. So it will keep writing that value in the output one by one wherever the criteria has been satisfied. So let's say I will give salary greater than, instead of equal to, I will give greater than equal to 0 rupees. So wherever salary is maintained, all those entries will be fetched. I will remove these things. I don't want this. Okay, I will just remove these things. I want all the employees where salary is greater than 0. So just give GT greater than 0. Okay, and it will fetch all the salary, and it will keep printing that. Let's say salary or employee number, whatever you want to print for that entry, it will keep printing that. So we will discuss the select query in detail later. I just wanted to show you how to use this pattern button to generate code. But and first thing, you saw the equal to sign. I have changed it to some characters here, GT, which means greater than. Then we have something called less than. Then we have EQ, which is for equal to. Then we have contains, lot of content string, those kind of, depending on data type, we have lot of operators here that we use. So generally we avoid using equal to sign here because this is for assignment operator, and EQ is for comparison operator. So here we compare values, so we use EQ operator. That is the standard practice. Avoid using equal to symbol, instead use EQ. Okay, capital small doesn't matter, it's case insensitive. Okay, it doesn't, ABAP is not case sensitive, so you can give anything. So this is how you generate from pattern. Okay, so this with this we close our control statement topic agenda. Okay, and in our next class we will go for queries, select queries and joins and all, how to fetch data from internal table, that we have been designing, hard coding the data in the program till now, right? So in our next session we will go for dynamic data fetch from database table as per our requirement, or as per user input, whatever user enters on the screen. And then based on that we will fetch the values from the database table, and then we will display it, and then we will see list output and how to do the cosmetic changes to that to those output screens. And there is something called ALV, ABAP list viewer, which is more like a table kind of view. You will see ALV, that is again a separate very big topic. Okay, but we will cover that as well, how to generate that ALV, and that is very favorite question in interview, ALV. Okay, and types of outputs, list output, and then we have drill down reports, where one, if table is generated, if you double click on one line item, it will take you to the its detailed screen where its detail will explain. So it's a drill down report functionality. So there will be multiple layer of screens. So those things we will discover in our coming classes slowly. Okay, so I think we are done for today. So thank you for all the subscriptions and all the views that you have been providing. That has been very much encouraging for me and helps me record more and more sessions. Okay, so keep sharing, keep learning, and keep practicing. So if you need a server, you can contact me on my mail ID, server access. But guys, that is not for free, because I am also lending it from someone, and I am also paying the rent, so that obviously you also have to bear the cost for. But that is something not in my hand, and I don't provide myself. I can be just the just an informer to you, or I can connect you with that server person who is providing this server. Okay, and you can negotiate with him or her directly to the contact person. Okay, so you will be needing the server. If you have company server, then it's really good, you can directly provide it. Don't go for external server, because that will be more stable and genuine server. So you will have sandbox system. I explained in my first sessions what is the sandbox, and during the system landscape we discussed for SAP. So sandbox is something, a system where we practice everything, test system. It's kind of, we deploy everything we practice, and we just try it out for experimental purpose if it works out or not. And every now and then client refreshes it. Okay, they will have sandbox system, and they will refresh it with the development system, and they will make it a replica of development system. And after 1 month again they refresh it with the development data and development configuration and everything. So just practice and delete. You just better practice and delete, and don't leave your object in that system for long. It will get refreshed. Definitely your client will be doing the refresh for your sandbox every now and then. Okay, so that is the best option. And secondary option is going for server, so that will cost you some amount. So you can reach out to me for that. I can put you in connection with that person. Otherwise you can look out on internet or somewhere, you will find someone providing this service. Okay, so thank you so much and have a great day. We'll meet you in the next session. Bye bye.